Hello, great to have you on the show. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Hong Phuc Dang. I am the founder of FOSSASIA. So FOSSASIA is the largest open source developer network in Asia. And I am from Vietnam.
Thanks for the intro. When did you find or create FOSSASIA?
So we started FOSSASIA in 2009. My partner is from Germany.
And what was the reason? What problems were you trying to solve with FOSSASIA?
Okay, so actually the mission of FOSSASIA is to bring people together, to engage people, open source developers around Asia, to work on an open community, open society to create new technology that benefit everyone. So our mission is to improve lives with open technologies.
You said that you're originally from Vietnam, so are you still living there or you moved out of Vietnam?
So at the moment, I'm working from Singapore, but I often travel around Asia for my job.
So, what are the regions within Asia or Southeast Asia that you cover in FOSSASIA?
So almost everywhere in Asia. So it depends on in some country we have a big community, and while some other we have a more smaller group, but we have contacts everywhere in Asia. So our biggest community right now is in India.
Thanks. That was going to be my second question. So, what are the countries where you have organized FOSSASIA so far?
So we have it in Vietnam, Cambodia, Singapore, and the next year we also have an Open Tech Summit in China.
If I'm not wrong, I think beyond FOSSASIA, you're also involved with a lot of other projects that involve software development. Can you talk about those projects, please?
Okay, so let me explain a little bit more about FOSSASIA and what we do. So we actually started as a technology company. So before I founded FOSSASIA, we was a software company that provide outsourcing service for enterprises from Europe and from America. And after that, we started a conference in Vietnam, and the FOSSASIA organization came after. So in FOSSASIA organization, we focus on three main areas. So our core is to develop open source technology. So we have over 20 different projects under the FOSSASIA umbrella, from web to mobile documentation. We also create like a search engine. We have our own search engine. We have our own Linux distribution. We have event management application. We have, and most recently, we also have a project on conversational web.
The name of the company is FOSSASIA?
Same FOSSASIA.
Okay, and you said you're also outsourcing some work?
That was before in Vietnam. Yes, so we started before FOSSASIA. We actually running a technology company, an outsourced company in Vietnam.
Okay, and that's when you founded FOSSASIA.
Yeah, after that I founded FOSSASIA.
You mentioned there are three areas FOSSASIA focuses on.
Yeah, so the first is the solution development focused on software, open source software and hardware. For the hardware, we also have one project that called the BSS Pocket Science Lab. Pocket Science Lab is a small device that it could act like an oscilloscope with a different sensor attached to it that you can measure temperature, humidity that used for high school student or secondary school to learn chemistry and physics. And it's very portable and affordable. So the goal is we can have some hardware device to put on the hand of the students so they can experiment, so they can learn better.
That's interesting. So, are you working with the schools or students or people who are interested in it buy it individually?
So we work with the school. Actually, one of the developer who started the project is a teacher based in India. So we have a good network in India. The device has been used in a number of schools in India.
What is the name of the teacher?
Praveen Patel.
Oh, Praveen Patel.
Yeah. So he's based in Belgium.
That's one of the three areas that you mentioned. What are the two other areas?
The two others areas. So we also do a lot with education and training. So we work with university, institution, and also school. So we do workshop at school, and we also organize like coding contests throughout the year. And at the moment, we launching right now a program called Code Hit. So this is an online contest that encourages student young developers from everywhere around Asia to participate in different open source projects under FOSSASIA. So what they do is they just basically go check out our project on GitHub, and they can start something very simple, deploy the project, test out the project, make a bug report or solve some issue, make a pull request, like some simple thing. And then the award is, so the person who make the most pull requests, good quality, will win a trip to Singapore for the FOSSASIA Summit next year.
So how do you choose the project, or do they choose the project?
So all the project are under FOSSASIA project. So we have
Okay.
like a few feature projects that we use for the program.
So do these students already have some exposure to coding? Are they coders or
Yes, so it depends on different levels. So the core concept, the core idea of the program, not only like student participate, contribute code, but we also provide opportunity for newcomers, for students who have very little knowledge in coding. So how the program work? We have a number of mentors, like from everywhere around the world. So our developers become mentors, so that they are there to help the students. And every single project has its own mailing list and Gitter channel, so where the student can come and communicate directly with the mentors or the developers to ask any question.
and what is the third area?
The third area is event and meetups. So the FOSSASIA Summit is an annual event that started in 2009, and this is the biggest open source conference in Asia. And it's happened every year in Singapore. So the next event will be in March 23rd to 25th, again in Singapore. And for the next year, we also put up another conference called the Open Tech Summit in China. It's gonna be in Suzhou a month after FOSSASIA. Besides that, throughout the year, our FOSSASIA member also organize a lot of meetups everywhere, like in the region. So we have a lot of meetups in India, in Bangalore, in Delhi, in Hyderabad, and many other cities in the region.
And what is your target audience with FOSS Asia? I mean, what kind of attendees or speakers or presenters do you expect at the event?
At FOSSASIA, so it depends on the theme of every year. So for instance, the next year theme would be cognitive computing and AI. So we're looking for like speakers in this new area. But actually, how we structure the FOSSASIA Summit, normally it run over 3 days, and with several parallel tracks. So it depends on the different tracks that we attract different speakers. So we have, I can name a few tracks for you for your reference. So we have DevOps, we have blockchain track, we have AI, we have web, we have privacy, security, privacy, and for the new track of next year, we are gonna run a legal track at FOSSASIA.
Machine learning and artificial intelligence is very close to my heart, but I don't hear a lot about these technologies in the desktop Linux community, though we do hear a lot about it in the enterprise or commercial open source world. So what got you interested in these technologies?
Exactly, because this is a new thing. So the topic of AI and conversational web is a very new area, not only in open source but also in the general tech industry. This is just like started about 1.5 years ago. People like big companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft started to introduce like smart speakers. Also, like company like Panasonic, they also have their own smart speakers. So this is a new frontier of technology, and we want, of course, like we want to be the people how do you say, who start the trend, who start the movement. So before we have the open web, now we want to start the open conversational web from FOSSASIA.
So that's a pretty good overview of the three things that you are primarily focusing on. You're already doing a lot of work, but are you doing something more beyond these three things?
Okay, so that three things actually take up a lot of most of my time already. So because under like the development of the software that we develop, I mentioned to you our focus right now is conversational web, and our very new project that I'm gonna present tomorrow, which is Suzy AI. This is an alternative to Alexa, Google Assistant, or Siri, and we got a lot of attention already from the community, and we hope to attract more people to join us and to build up the open conversational web.
Machine learning and AI is where the future belongs, and they have very well established machine learning platforms. And most of these technologies are actually open source by companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. So, but it's good to see that you are doing a lot of work in that direction. So, when we talk about Suzy AI, what is the underneath technologies that you are using in there?
So underneath, so we have a server written in Java, and a lot of clients built on top of Suzy. So we have, at the moment, we already have the working web client, Android client, and also iOS client. And we and Suzy also work with different APIs in data sources. So you can actually integrate your own, integrate Suzy into your internal IT system, IT infrastructure.
So, what is the purpose of integrating Suzy AI with the IT infrastructure? How does it help sysadmins or developers?
Okay, so the thing is, there's several ways that Suzy can help. Suzy could act as a chatbot, as a voice assistant, and so at the moment, so what we do, so we also there is a business potential in Suzy, in Suzy, not only an open source project, but we hope that to sustain the project through business partnership with company. We want to work together with company. So at the moment, as you know that Alexa, Google, they have their own personal assistant, but they're not interacted. So whenever you go into Alexa, so you make the skill and you call up the skill inside Alexa. So not really interconnected, and we want to create an open platform where everything can work. Everything can work. So not like before we have the closed browser. Like I remember a few years back when a lot of websites do not work on closed website like Internet Explorer, and now so we have all the company now working on different personal assistant, and we don't want this to happen again. So we want to have the open conversational web just like the open web that we had.
Diversity is a topic that's I take very seriously, and you have two unique and great qualities. You come from Southeast Asia, and you are a female leader of open source project. So when it comes to FOSSASIA, how inclusive is this event? Do you go to some extra length or take extra pains to ensure that people from different cultural background or both genders or LGBT community, they get a kind of equal platforms? So do you kind of like take trouble to invite speakers from these diverse groups so that FOSSASIA is a very inclusive event?
Yes, so actually, in FOSSASIA, we try very hard to increase diversity and to include all different groups of people at FOSSASIA. So you mentioned about the topic of gender diversity. So if you look at FOSSASIA, so I'm a leader, I'm a female, and other female developers or female contributors, they also more comfortable around female. So when you look at our community in general, I think we like not like so. I'm not saying that we have more women than men, but more women than men, but we have quite a good number of contributors who are female, and we constantly working to engage more women into our community. So how do we do that? So at the across FOSSASIA project, we make it very simple for new joiners. So we keep the entrance barriers very low by providing very good documentation. You know that a lot of open source projects they have very heavy on code, but the lack of documentation. So we put documentation in in a very so we pay a lot of attention in documentation. So we have good documentation and also in many different languages. And we also engage people in outreach activities. And not only so, and we also have a program for our contributor and developers. So you start as a junior, and then after some time in FOSSASIA, you can advance into the next level to join the advanced developer group, and then later on you become a mentor and the lead of the project. We always try to give people more responsibility, and when the people feel that they are empowered, they go out their way to help other people to join the community. And for us, we are always try to keep a very friendly environment, so we always welcome everyone. So every single person who participate in our community, they feel that they are being taken seriously.